it's a man and his wife. You understand? Now, someone is relating to me. Her initial reason was to assist their daughter who had just given birth. However, the situation has dragged on as the daughter has since had 2 more children, yet my uncle's wife has not seen the need to return to her husband. About 2 years ago, my uncle asked me to talk to his wife about returning home. During our conversation, I was shocked by her response. She bluntly said, "Your uncle should go and carry the women he used to carry when he was younger." Oh, so that's a part of the conversation. It became clear that her decision to stay away was intentional. She knows her husband is now old, weak, and unable to pursue other women or manage such on his own, as he relies solely on his pension and the small support sent by their children. When I pressed further, that's this person telling the story, she reviewed her perspective. She claimed that my uncle used to threaten her with the idea of taking a second wife and had maltreated her during their younger years. So remember the fact that I said while you are young and everything, you should work on maintaining love and seeing that you are treating each other nicely. But this is a part of the conversation. I couldn't help but ask if this was some form of revenge. Her words left me wondering if some women patiently wait until old age to settle scores, knowing that their husbands are now vulnerable. This story reflects a broader reality. Old age often seems to favor women more than men. This is another conversation. Is it true that old age sort of favors women more than men, especially when maybe a man is older than his wife? You know, this is another conversation that is inside this conversation. It's an entire scenario that was sent in. Now, this dynamic is worsened when men fail to secure a solid foundation for their later years. So the advice to men is coming that plan for your old age, build a support system independent of anyone, whether it's financial stability, meaningful relationship, or a reliable community. Avoid relying solely on your wife or children. A situation can change. A secure and well thought out plan for your later years can ensure that no one, neither a spouse nor your children, will take you for granted when you are most vulnerable. Of course, this one is coming in, and this was sent in by a woman, so it was not as if a man sent it. It was not a man sending this, and it seems like an unbalanced conversation. It was actually a woman who sent this about her uncle, who is presently in this very, very interesting situation, the old bachelor syndrome. That's what I'm calling it, the old bachelor syndrome. Now, let's hear from Lagos. Let's see what Lagos has to say about this particularly very interesting dynamic. I have a caller here who is trying to maybe weigh in on this matter. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, you would have to call me back and let me know what you think. The numbers to call are 0802 502 7711. You can also call 0805 092 0927 or 0705 890 4927. Let's see who our caller is. Hello, good morning. Family Matters Super FM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, good morning. I'm Toby calling you from Bariga.
Toby from Bariga. How are you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. Toby, please go ahead.
One thing I've seen, at least in this very little years of mine on earth, is that women, they don't forgive. They don't forget.
Bro, you can't generalize like that. You've not been with all the women on the planet.
Yes, but at least I've seen few of them. Like when you said it all in that kind of conversation that when you are young, try to build a healthy relationship so that when you are vulnerable, they will remember the relationship you've built. And see, all these women, they can just forgive for the surface for the moment, waiting for their time to revenge. That okay, don't worry. The time is coming. Okay, in the case of my own parents, my mom happens to be a traveler. She travels from here to the north all the time.
Because of her business.
And my dad is a farmer.
Okay.
He has farms in Ondo, in Ogun State. At the point, my elder sister, my mom's first child, had to tell my dad, marry a second wife.
Wait, now your mama born your elder sister?
Yes.
Okay.
My mom's first child. She fostered the relationship with my dad and the new wife. She made sure it happened.
How did your mom react to this?
She was like, she was at the stage of my children and my husband now. So she was like, okay, no problem. So And sometimes, and some issues want to come up. I have to stand up. I say, okay. So you want to say, who wants to say something now? This man is a companion. I'm a man. This man is a companion. It's not for the sake of intimacy or anything, but he needs someone to talk to, wake up and talk to in the morning. Someone to to relate his issues to his own. So he needs somebody. So, as a man, you have said it in that conversation. As a man, you have to kind of create a kind of
a plan, a safety net for yourself in old age.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Toby. I really do appreciate your angle to this story. Well, so that's another angle. Toby says his elder sister went to bring a wife for their father because their mom was a traveler who really had no time. Maybe not in this world, but he didn't have a lot. She didn't have a lot of space and time to cater to the needs of the family. Well, that's one part of the conversation. Well, I wouldn't maybe want to follow through on the conversation around maybe an extra wife polygamy and all of that, because of course what we stand for here seems a little different from that line. But then it was a solution that his own sister, the biological daughter of the woman who had not been available, doing something. I think couples need to sit and plan old age very well. Now, I want to take a note for my own family. My dad, who is still happily married to my mom, and in old age right now, they've both been, together for the longest time. They've both had reasons to, not have as much strength. They've both been sick. Let's just put it that way. They've both had different health issues because they are in their old age. And the kids don't have a lot of time to be with them, but there was a plan that they made to stay together. They did everything they could to cater to themselves and stay together, and then also worked towards giving their children the best. So right now, the children are doing a lot for them, even though they are not around. And then there's still the conversation around nannies and all of those things. And one thing that I want to relate to is the work we do while we're young. It's how much we invest in these relationships. Toby said something which also is connected in the conversation that was sent in. He said something about the fact that people do not necessarily want to forgive. People do not that sometimes women do not forgive. While I would not agree that all women, because we've not done that survey, we don't have the facts to back up that claim that women don't forgive. Because the truth is, as a human being, sometimes something hurts you. Yes, the pain and the hurt will stay, but have you forgiven this person? Yes. Some people do that. I know a lot of people. I can, from my own perspective, Toby, say, oh, women forgive. I know that women for a fact forgive more than men. But then some people would not forgive. Some people would. This is a very interesting case. The woman didn't forgive something that happened a long time ago. And since 2016, she hasn't been home from Germany, where she's taking care of her grandchildren. Of course, since 2016, I'm thinking all the children are grown by now. They're not still in diaper, and she doesn't have to still be there. But then she has left the husband in Nigeria to fend and struggle by himself. And we know that at the early stages of marriage, we need each other. Middle stage, we need each other, But then there's also the fact that the children will take a lot of time from us. But then in old age, looking at what my parents are experiencing right now, how it's you can hardly call my mom's phone right now, and my dad is not right beside her, and they're probably having a conversation or watching something together or just reminiscing the good old days. And I think it's from how they built themselves towards this time. And even when, my mom was still kind of in her elements and had a lot of strength to move around, when my sisters or any of the siblings would have kids, the max that you can stay away from home was 2 months. Till maybe the baby was good enough. And then when my mom leaves your house after 2 months, of course, there's also the other mother-in-law who would come in as well. So once they do the 2 months and they see that the baby's neck don't stand, by the third month, they just do a visit from time to time, come in every 2 weeks, just see how the baby is doing, and then they come back to their houses. That was what the culture was. And I think we should actively start looking at these options as opposed to, just leaving ourselves to just fall from grace, because this is something that we see happening a lot. Now, I got a message on WhatsApp. This message says, greetings and happy new year. I'm Biodun from Festac. For your topic, I think I'm not an advocate of divorce regardless of any issues except for fornication. My wife, of course, then you sent another message that I will be taking up with to see how we can look into that from our end here. But then thank you so much for sending your message, Biodun from Festac. I appreciate you so much, and I'm sorry about the other things you said in your message. I'm praying for you, and we'll see how we can look into this as well. Thank you for sending that message. If you really want to maybe react to this story as well, maybe you have an angle to it, or you know an old bachelor and how they've been coping, or you know an alternatively old couple. Maybe this couple that have been together for years, and they are also still making things happen for themselves, and it's not they found a way to balance the life, that even though their children are having babies as well, they've been able to create a standard to say, oh yes, you can go for this number of days and come back, so that peace will reign. Because the truth is, what I've come to discover in my little time as well, and in conversations that I've had with older people who have succeeded in marriage through thick and thin, through life, through old age, and even through whatsoever, is that someone said something to me, and that thing shocked me the first time the person said it. The person said, the reason you are getting married is not so you can have children. It's for the sake of companionship, because at every turn, you would need to look back. Aside God, there is someone you are looking at, and you have to confide in, and you have to be friends with, and you have to invest in. As much as that person is pouring into you, you are pouring into that person. The woman in question, whom this lady wrote about, said when she confronted her, what's going on, she said, let your brother go and meet all the women he was chasing around when he was younger. This was connotative of the fact that there was a lot of bitterness in this picture, and these were things that maybe if they had spoken about earlier, if they had talked as a couple, if they had confided in each other, oh, I know you are doing this, can you stop this, I don't want you to keep doing this. But then from the conversation, she said the man threatened her multiple times with, I will take another wife, and this and that and that. And those were seeds he was sowing while they were younger. And this brings us to another fact, because there are so many wrongs in this particular story, which must not be our perspective on life. Now, he wronged her. He threatened her with, oh, I'll bring another wife, I will do this, I will do that, which wasn't supposed to be the case. But then there's a place for us to forgive and forget. And then as men, let's remember that in the long run, we will grow old, and the seeds we're sowing right now, the things we're saying to the people we are married to, how we treat them right now that we have the strength and the vigor and everything, is going to eventually speak as well, because people remember things. People essentially remember a lot of things, and they remember these things, and they react based on all of these things. And these are things that sometimes you have forgotten. I'm sure the man has forgotten some of the things he said all those years ago when he was, probably saying, I'll take another wife and whatsoever. And the woman just kept those things in her heart. And, we're seeing the results 6 years on, or many years on. Now the man is doing stuff by himself. He's alone. And like Toby said, invest in yourself. This thing is something that sometimes would happen. There's people who have lost their spouses. There are men and women who have lost their spouses, and their children have had to move on. Maybe their children got married, and this and that and that. I had a friend who shared an experience with me when we were in the university, and I want to visit his story because there were four. There were four kids in the family. Their dad passed on when they were really very young. He was assassinated in the family house in Lagos, and then they had to move to another city because it was a very, very messy conversation. Now, he said they were all very young when their dad passed on. His elder sister was just about to get into secondary school, which means they were all still really very young, maybe the oldest. And it was a difficult time for their mom to raise the kids, and that one thing that he always remembered was her fear to start another relationship, being a single mother, and having to start a relationship with another man. Would he want to have children, and would he love her own children? This was a dilemma for her. Now eventually, when they started growing older and they were in secondary school, he said he and his sisters, because he was the oldest son, he said he and his sisters would talk to their mom like, mommy, are you not going to consider maybe looking for someone that you could marry? She tried a couple of relationships, but then it didn't work. But then in the midst of trying these relationships and trying to be married a second time, I think she discovered that she needed to build certain friendships and communities around herself and around her children. And eventually she was able to build a community of women and men who were maybe also otherwise single, who had lost spouses or who had been divorced and whatsoever, and they were able to build towards better than men, that they have people around them, they have the help and everything. But for men, it doesn't seem to be the same way. And I think we should change the narrative. What are the things that we need to do so that when maybe we lose a spouse or we lose a marriage or where we become quote unquote old bachelors inevitably? Because sometimes there's always going to be the time when, as a man, you have to be by yourself. Let me say this again. You might have to be by yourself because your kids have grown older. Your maybe the wife is still in the picture. It's not like you guys are divorced or anything, but then you don't have the presence of your wife, probably because she has to go do a mugo or go take care of the babies, or she has to go do a business thing or one thing or the other, and you have to be alone. There are certain life skills that men now need to have, and becoming an old bachelor that would then have a good life is something that you must actively invest in. Now, one of the things that I would ask is to look out for activities that could still help you stay busy. Maybe you were in corporate service, or maybe you were working in the civil service, you were working and getting a salary, but then while you are working and getting a salary, what is your retirement plan? Are you thinking of retiring to your village? There were I had this friend that every time their dad would always travel home, and then he built a retirement home in the village, and then he went to set up like a small farm in the village and some other things that he could manage while he was in the village. So when he retired at the age of 60, he just went back to the village. So like he and his siblings were in Lagos. They had a house in Lagos, but their dad would just maybe once every 3 or 4 months visit them in Lagos and then go back to the village to see to his business. And because he grew up in the village, he had a lot of his childhood friends and people whom he trusted, who could help him transition that lifestyle. And then it was eventually, I think, when his wife retired as well, she also moved to the village. And it was something that they did. And when I saw it, and I was asking my friend, I was like, that this is something that it's a cultural thing for them. Like it was a cultural thing that there are people usually would just maybe do life in Lagos, and after some time they build something in the village and then retire to the village where they have the community around them. They could still live good lives, have a business there, and do something so that they don't live this lonely life where Papa is carrying plates in the morning to go and buy rice at the side of the road, and people, and it's just an uncomfortable life that they have to live. And sometimes when they even are alone and they fall sick, there's nobody attending to their needs and everything. There's also conversations around an old people's home that people sometimes talk about, but then it seems to be a touchy subject when you talk old people's home right here in Nigeria. People are like, you want to go abandon your parents, you don't love them, old people's homes, this and that. But then I know some old people who have by themselves saved towards that retirement plan of having themselves checked into an old people's home right here in Nigeria, or even looking at the option of having nannies that come to live with them, because they understand that their children will grow old and eventually move on. And then what happens when you don't have a spouse around? Maybe they pass on, or there is some kind of a disagreement, or they have to inevitably go see your grandkids and do some level of caregiving at some point in life. These are conversations that you must actively think of. I'm going on a quick break right now. When we return, I'll take a few more comments, and then I will be wrapping things up on Family Matters. Stay tuned.
Super FM 92.7.
As the years they go, we dey work for dough. Some days you fast, some days you slow. Many highs and lows, but we carry go. Nothing will stop our doing so. Nothing I just spirit, yes we move. With family, there's love at home. We know say Christmas, it don't come over. Roll the trumpet, the parape.
Hello, go. Everywhere you go. Everybody go, lo. We go enjoy, we go
Celebrate.
Looking for avenues to reach a global audience? Would you like your business to reach your target audience and people from all walks of life? Call our commercial lines on 0816 4193677 or walk into our office at 31 Bishop Oluwole Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. Put your business on blast on Super 92.7 FM, your one family, one radio.
Welcome back. 92.7 Super FM.
Okay, welcome back. Still a Super FM 92.7, your one family, one radio station. And this is coming as maybe a last minute effort to help that old bachelor, or that you as a young person around or an old bachelor could give them some form of help you could give them. And then if it's something else that you're looking at, that maybe you yourself as a person who is married right now, please treat your spouses well. And regardless of how you treat your spouses, there are some things that you must just prepare for. The inevitability of being alone sometimes. It isn't in God's plan that any human being should be alone. That is why the institution of marriage was created. That was why he had that whole plan in the beginning. That's why, you know, we have this conversation around friendship, intimacy, and all of that. Now, managing life and expectations as an old bachelor is something that you must start to invest into right now. My brothers, my sisters, you're in your 30s, you're in your 20s, you're in your 50s. You're still working, you are still happily married and doing life and taking care of kids. One thing you must think about is the retirement, the time when your body would not be able to do as much as it used to do. But then you need to invest in yourself right now. So it goes without saying that you need to start doing things that strengthens your body even in old age. So start working out, start doing the exercises, make out time to exercise. I have a boss who tells me that, I do my 15 minutes press up inside his office. So when I come to office, and I just look at it, because you know my boss's office sometimes, and he won't open the door. Tell you, I'll be with you shortly. Baba is doing his jogging and press up in his office because he knows he has to stay healthy, and then he takes long walks. And he does all he can to stay healthy. Now, redefine your happiness, embrace independence, appreciate the freedom and flexibility that comes with your lifestyle. You have the ability to make decisions without the constraint of a traditional family structure. And this is where you get to when you grow older and you might become a bachelor again. So if people say the wife could pass on, or maybe she go do temporary bachelorhood, you know, she go do omugwo. You have to prepare yourself. There are some life skills that we talk about every time that everybody possesses. You must know how to cook. You must know how to clean. You must know how to do things for yourself. You must know how to take care of yourself. These are things that you must do. So build a support network. Invest in friendships. Deepen existing friendships, and form new connections. Now, do enough to engage with your family, stay connected with family members if possible, maintaining the relationships that can provide stability and emotional grounding. So don't do that. It's me and my husband, me and my wife. You know, sometimes your extended family can also be a part of what, you know, can help you at this time in life when you get to the old bachelor stage. Extended family, sometimes keep them close enough so that when the need arises, they can come to your aid. And also focus on health and well-being. I've talked about physical health. I've talked about your mental health, how to invest in those things. Pursue personal growth. Learn skills. Take up a hobby and learn a new language or pursue creative activities. I know someone who is learning tech right now. The person is in his 50s. He's learning a tech skill because once he retires, he wants to retire into being able to do one or two things that keeps him talking, keeps him going out, so he doesn't become a couch potato or vegetable at the end of his life. Now, accept and adjust expectations. So don't start thinking you do things you used to do when you were 25 or 24 or 23. Just as your life is progressing, you're starting to feel like your back is not going to help you anymore. You know, start doing things, pay attention to your health, and then manage your expectations and all of that. So this is me focusing on the old bachelors right now, and the old spinsters as well, and the people who have to do life alone. You don't have to be alone at this time of your life, and contribute to something larger. Become a mentor, start to mentor someone. People, one thing that old age brings is a lot of experience, depending on the kind of life you lived. So start investing into, the younger generation. Start investing into them, because somehow they will invest back into you. So, and then a major part of this is your financial planning. Plan well for your future. Save for your future. Build in your young age. Build a retirement home, like I told you. Those my friend's father did. My dad also built a couple of retirement homes for himself. Built in the village, built for his mom, built in Lagos. And so right now he doesn't have to worry about rent. You understand? So I think we should start doing that. All people who eventually want to have a good life always plan these kind of things. Now celebrate your freedom, take pride in flexibility, and create a legacy. Consider how you would like to be remembered, whether through charitable contributions, writing or supporting causes. Just do something that gives you a sense of belonging, so that in old age, you'll not be that babandagbe, Iyanyowa kind of thing. You won't be that old bachelor that people just see and they're like, why did this man come be like this? Hey, in family, no Danny, so invest in your family, and then invest in your family with the mindset that even if they are not there to, support you, you can hold your own in old age. That's what I want us to do. Well, this is the conversation we'll be revisiting again very, very soon. It's Friday. I need to go on a quick break right now. I'm going to play you a song from Mars. This one is titled Peace. I hope peace finds you today. When we come back, of course, I'll be telling you about my plans for the weekend, and I'll be asking about yours as well. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Yeah, 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 yeah.